Guardians of the Galaxy.
We're all about to die!
Guardians of the Galaxy is not like other Marvel movies. The characters are doing good deeds all the time, joking and vibing to the music of the 70s. The team is far from being perfect. It's hard for them to find a common ground, decide who is in charge, and stick to the plan. However, they become a real family. What makes Guardians of the Galaxy stand out from other typical superhero movies, and how does it show the importance of family values? Let's figure it out. If you like our movie breakdowns, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. The characters of Guardians of the Galaxy weren't meant for each other. They were created by different writers and artists back in the 70s. They even first appeared in unrelated comics. They first got together in 2008 when Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning gathered them under one roof of one comic book where Star-Lord formed a team to protect the galaxy. However, the movie tells a different story. The characters meet by chance on Xandar. Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord, attempts to sell the stolen orb with the Infinity Stone inside. When Peter fights for the orb, he meets Gamora, Rocket, and Groot. They end up in an intergalactic prison where they meet another inmate, Drax. They unite to escape, not to save the galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy are nothing like the Avengers. Actually, they look like a mockery of a typical superhero team. There is no genius, playboy, billionaire, philanthropist, and selfless truth seeker. Each character travels through the universe pursuing their personal goals. Some of them are definitely not that smart, while others are well-versed in technology. For example, Peter Quill invents a mask to breathe in space, and Rocket creates flying backpacks, but they look incredibly funny. They are unlike typical heroes or anti-heroes. Most of the Guardians are just ordinary guys with some flaws. Guardians of the Galaxy is a movie about tolerance and acceptance. It criticizes xenophobia. The team consists of creatures of various space races. Peter Quill is a human. At least he looks like one. His father was a celestial, a creature capable of controlling matter and energy. At the same time, Peter seems to be an ordinary guy. Living on the Earth, he would be a typical geek. He would wear superhero t-shirts, collect toys, and play PlayStation. Throughout the first movie, he tried to make everyone remember his nickname, Star-Lord, alas, unsuccessfully. Even though Peter is the protagonist, the hearts of fans were won by another tough guy, Rocket. This raccoon has a huge fandom and more screen time than Star-Lord. Rocket is a humanoid cyber raccoon who doesn't know that real raccoons exist. He's a great mechanic and soldier, yet he has some typical raccoon habits that he might have inherited from his animal prototype. For example, Rocket steals everything that catches his attention. It becomes a joking matter that triggers a set of events and plot twists. Rocket has an unusual friend called Groot, an incredibly powerful human-like tree. He actually reminds us of the Ents introduced by J.R.R. Tolkien. Groot's ability is regeneration. For instance, if you cut his branch arm off, it'll grow back. And when he was killed, he managed to regenerate, growing up into a baby Groot in a pot. Groot speaks his own language with a single phrase, "I am Groot." This highlights that the team members are very different. They literally speak different languages. Rocket is the only one who could understand Groot, as they were friends from the very beginning. Other team members began to understand him too. This way, we see how they become close. Gamora is a Zenwaberi, a woman from a race of human-like green-skinned people. She is the most mature team member. She is agile, brave, and smart, and her emotional intelligence is highly developed. For a long time, Gamora was the only woman among the Guardians. Drax is the strongest, but not the smartest member of the team. However, the team's spirit boils inside him more than in anyone else. What unites such different characters? Even though the Guardians have different personalities, goals, and origins, they have something in common. They all have traumas. For example, Peter was abducted from Earth and made a member of the Space Mafia. Rocket is a selfish, cynical, and cunning cyber raccoon, but everyone perceives him as a cute animal, and it doesn't correspond to his nature. Gamora is the adopted daughter of Thanos, who turned her into a killing machine. She is eaten by guilt and the desire to overthrow her father and restore justice. Thanos also killed Drax's family, and almost no one could understand Groot. Even though the Guardians are good at fighting, close relationships scare them. Still, they are a team, and they try to overcome trauma together. Thus, they find themselves on the path of good. And this is just a step away from saving the galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy tells a story about finding a family. They hit it off even though Gamora hates Peter's childishness and Rocket's selfishness is infuriating. The second movie brings them even closer when they sort of become parents to baby Groot. That's the core idea of the movie. Family doesn't always include relatives by blood. Closeness, empathy, willingness to help each other no matter what is way more important. If you want to learn more about overcoming fear of intimacy and trusting each other, join our course, Clinical Psychology. You now have access to all courses in the app. The first 7 days are free of charge, then $6.99 per month. The link is in the description box. In the second movie, the team meets a new character, Peter's biological father, a celestial called Ego. Peter has always dreamed about meeting him, but he doesn't live up to his expectations and almost destroys hundreds of planets. He doesn't treat Peter as an equal, but believes he will continue his work. So he uses Peter to turn all worlds into his likeness. The plot sounds metaphorical, but it shows that many parents try to achieve their desired goals using their children. And it turns out that Peter considered Yondu Udonta, the leader of space smugglers, his true father because he raised him. The protagonist learns a lot about other people and other creatures. Even though Ego could transform into a human looking like David Hasselhoff, who Peter always pictured as his father, he is devoid of human nature. Although the whole concept of humanity comes from the Latin word meaning human, space aliens are more human than the inhabitants of Earth. The Guardians of the Galaxy universe is part of the Avengers universe, but it looks smaller, which is weird. The action takes place among the stars and planets. This technique allows the audience to see the difference. Large-scale events happening in the vast universe emphasize the fragility, vulnerability, and value of the family's small world. Guardians of the Galaxy seems even cozier than the movies about the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Just compare them. Cold space versus New York, smartphones, and Zendaya. The way they built the relationship between different races is even more touching. When James Gunn, the director of the movie, worked on the style, he focused on the cozy aesthetics of the 70s. You can see it in the visuals. Take the way the character's spaceship looks. And in music, too. The director claimed he spent hours scrolling through the Billboard charts, selecting the best 70s hits even before the shooting started. The final version of the movie includes around 120 tracks. Gunn admitted that some of the scenes were music-born. He thought about what message he could convey using a particular song. The movie was deemed to be based on music. Even the name Rocket Raccoon was inspired by the song of the Beatles, Rocky Raccoon. Music is what makes space feel like home. James Gunn explained that familiar music made it easier to perceive various planets and weird landscapes. He thought it was a funny comparison. The movie is filled with reference-based humor and Easter eggs. For instance, the characters discussed the movie Footloose, starring Kevin Bacon, thinking it was a legend about a famous dancer who liberated everyone. And Kurt Russell, who plays Peter's evil father, is an 80s action movie star. The Guardians also make fun of the cliches and sublime romance from various epic superhero movies. All these features contribute to making Guardians of the Galaxy one of the most comforting and wholesome movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. By the way, we'll see Volume 3 of Guardians of the Galaxy in 2023. It will be great to see the characters we love again. Rumor has it we'll get to see the real Kevin Bacon. How do you feel about Guardians of the Galaxy? What do you expect from Volume 3? Let us know in the comments.